Hello everyone, I'm currently at Sumiyoshi Station in Kobe City, Hyogo Prefecture. In this discussion, the focus will be on Rokko Island, which is an artificial island. I heard that there are many huge bubble era relics here, so I came to check it out. Previously, I visited Osaka Nanko Sakishima, an artificial island in Osaka, and introduced various bubble era relics there. Honestly, I don't know if Rokko Island is good or bad, but it's definitely not inferior at all. To get to Rokko Island, you can take a train called the Rokko Liner from Sumiyoshi Station. The official name is the Rokko Island Line, and you board it right above the ticket gates at Sumiyoshi Station. The transfer signs say both Rokko Island Line and Rokko Liner. The Rokko Liner's Sumiyoshi Station looks like this, and honestly, it's no different from any other railway station operated by other companies. There's a regular ticket counter here as well. Including Sumiyoshi Station, this line only has 6 stations. This railway was built solely for the purpose of transporting people to the artificial island. Here at Sumiyoshi Station, it connects with the Japan Railways line, and at the next station, Uozaki, it also connects with the Hanshin Railway. The fare for a single section is quite costly, by the way. 210 yen for one section, an uncommon price. Just like that. I went through the ticket gate and was about to go up the stairs to get on the train, but something caught my attention. Since it's art, I'll film it without any mosaic. I don't think it's a problem, but there was an exhibit of naked women lined up. So, luckily there was an escalator in the back, so I just took it up to the platform. The platform itself is also very simple. I'm sorry it's hard to tell in the video, but the train had 4 cars. By the way, in terms of running near the sea, as well as the atmosphere of the platform and the train, it's pretty much the same. It's the same as the new tram in Osaka Nanko. That's because both the Rokko Liner and the new tram are categorized as new transit systems, so they are similar. For now, I'll also take this train and travel to a station called Island Center, which is 4 stops ahead. While I'm on the train, let me briefly talk about how Rokko Island came to be. In Kobe, there's another famous artificial island called Port Island. It's the artificial island following Port Island. It was opened in 1988. What I'll be introducing this time is a huge commercial facility. Rokko Island was developed mainly as a residential area. If you look at the aerial photo, you'll see the Rokko Liner running through the center, and the area surrounding it has relatively good access. There are commercial facilities, parks, and residential areas in the area. Factories and other facilities line the seaside. The town development was significantly changed from the original plan made in the bubble era of the previous century. Unlike Osaka Nanko, I think the central part of the town was developed as planned, with a high degree of completion compared to the original concept. Multiple high-rise apartment buildings have been constructed in the area, according to property information sites. Even after 10 years, the value of the condominiums hasn't dropped that much, relatively speaking. They still seem to be popular even now though. The planned population before construction was 30,000, but currently it seems to be just under 20,000. Now, I've arrived at Island Center Station. This is the central area of Rokko Island, and various facilities are gathered here. If you exit the ticket gate at Island Center Station and turn right, you'll find a family mart. Next to it, there's a Rokko Island city map. The areas colored in blue are commercial facilities, and this time, I'll mainly be visiting those places. Also, I apologize if it's hard to see due to the reflection of light, but I'll also be visiting the Asia One Center office building located at the top left. So to start off, I'm heading to the Kobe Fashion Mart, which is the closest building from here. Even though it's just the beginning, this place is already an impressive, massive structure that really gives off a bubble era vibe. This is the entrance directly connected to the station. It's a bit hard to convey just how huge it is from here, so I'll show you a video I took from outside earlier. If you only look at this facility, it doesn't really look like a commercial building. It looks more like a hospital or a library. It looks like a public building. Kobe Fashion Mart is a large 10-story commercial facility that opened in 1991. The first to third floors are tenant floors, mainly featuring stores selling furniture and interior goods. The fourth to 10th floors are office areas. It may be impolite to say it's surprising, but they are operating. There were also quite a few stores, but since many of them were small, it was difficult to film them easily. I got the impression that many of the shops were high-end. On the other hand, vacant tenants were also noticeable. Of course, this may be due to the location on Rokko Island, but I also thought that it might be hard for a place focused mainly on furniture and interior shops to really thrive. By the way, ironically, the busiest place was the Tully's Coffee on the basement floor. Personally, what I found interesting about this facility was that these kinds of pop-up signs were set up everywhere. They're making self-deprecating jokes about how little people know about Rokko Island. It says these are the shops people want to visit, but honestly, none of them had anything to do with me. Do rich people really come all the way out here on their days off just to buy interior goods? I'm not so sure about that. Now then, the second floor entrance. There's a guideboard like this in front. The black area is the commercial zone and it surrounds the central circle. This is what Kobe is all about. This is the biggest feature of Fashion Mart and also its biggest wasteful part. There's an enormous plaza and an open atrium. It's so large that it's hard to fit it all in the frame, and I think it's difficult to convey its vastness through video, but honestly, it was overwhelming and really blew me away. The appearance alone reveals the significant investment, highlighting the grandiose plans of the bubble era. Apparently, on holidays, events are held in this plaza, so it's not a completely wasted space. There are also some benches placed at the edge of the plaza, even if just a few, so it seems to serve as a spot for people to chat. I won't say anything more about this. And there was also a huge banner set up saying "Live in Luxury," which was ridiculously big. It fits perfectly in the plaza. It's way too luxurious. I'll look up again and take a look around the office area. Since I visited during a weekday afternoon, it was open to the general public. I think it was during working hours for the employees, but as you can see, not many lights are on. Well, I don't think all the unlit areas are vacant, but still, it seems like nearly half of the spaces aren't occupied. So, I went back to the station for now, and headed left after the ticket gate. I'm going to check out the facility in that direction. Next, I came to a place called Sheraton Square, which opened in 1992 here as well. I'll first show you the overall view taken from outside. Somehow, it feels a bit... The faded Caesarea sign on the first floor really stands out. They appear to still be open for business. The tower you see is the Kobe Bay Sheraton Hotel. This hotel has been grappling with poor business due to price competition and the recession. The original management company departed and now it's operated by the renowned C company, familiar to most in the Kansai region. The Hotel Nuawaji Group is now managing it, and next to this hotel, there is a 4-story commercial facility called Sheraton Square, and this commercial facility is also in a very miserable state. If you enter Sheraton Square directly from the pedestrian deck on the second floor, you'll see this grand open space with an atrium. By the way, if you go to the left, there is the entrance to the Sheraton Hotel. As an impression, Since it's a facility adjacent to a hotel, it has a sense of luxury, and unlike the Kobe Fashion Mart earlier, it didn't feel so shabby. By the way, on the first floor, there are chairs set up around a mysterious green hill, so you can sit there. As I mentioned earlier, at first glance, this commercial facility may not seem so tragic, but I want you to take a look at the third and fourth floors above this level. There are absolutely no tenants and the area is closed off. You can't go up to the third floor. The escalators were also closed off. Apparently there used to be restaurants and other shops there, but I couldn't find out when they closed. The escalators are covered in dust, so it looks like they've been left unused for several years. There are also tenant areas on the outside. Once again, there's an open atrium. Rokko Island really seems to love open spaces. In the first place, it seems like the huge buildings planned during the bubble era really loved open atriums, and on Rokko Island, you can find them scattered everywhere. When I went outside, the left side was almost completely destroyed. This time I'll go to the right. I'm heading toward a huge commercial facility. Maybe because the right side is connected to another commercial facility, the convenience store and pharmacy are still there. There were even maternity clinics and such, so it wasn't that deserted. As I walk down the corridor, I arrive at Kobe Fashion Plaza, the largest commercial facility on Rokko Island. First, there's the Kobe Fashion Mart, which has a huge plaza and an open atrium. I've introduced the commercial facility, but it's completely unrelated to that place. The operating companies are different, so why are they so similar? It's a mystery why there's a commercial facility with the same name nearby. Anyone seeing it for the first time would definitely think the two places are related. For reference, Kobe Fashion Mall opened in 1991, and this place, Kobe Fashion Plaza, opened in 1997. As usual, I'll show you the exterior first. You might think it has a rather strange shape, but Kobe Fashion Plaza is actually a hotel. It's a general term that includes the museum and the commercial building. By the way, the circular shape is quite unique. The location is an event hall called Orbis Hall. The tall building is the hotel. When you go inside, there's another huge open atrium and a plaza where children can play. When I went, it was crowded with children. There are places like museums as tenants inside. I do wonder if it's really a good idea to create a place where children can make so much noise in a facility, but I guess it's better than having no people at all. By the way, they call the 10-story commercial building in this facility the Link. When it first opened, there were 85 tenants including movie theaters, restaurants and interior shops, and it was very lively. However, the liveliness didn't last long and the number of tenants kept decreasing. In the end, the management stopped paying the escalator and elevator maintenance companies. In 2018, the last remaining supermarket closed down. With this, all the tenants temporarily disappeared from the commercial link. Of course, that includes the restaurants in Link. There was nothing written on the city's information board, Kobe. There's also a map of the third floor of the Fashion Plaza, but the section for the commercial facility Link was completely blank. All the tenants disappeared after a company called Daei Kankyo took over management rights in 2019. Tenants have gradually started to return to the areas adjacent to the third floor plaza. It's a 10-story building, but Daei Kankyo has moved its headquarters to the 6th and 7th floors, showing their commitment to development. However, since the 6th and 7th floors can only be used as offices, it's certain that the scale will be reduced. Also, a supermarket is scheduled to open on the 1st and 2nd floors, and an amusement facility will open on the 8th floor. According to the official website's image renderings, there will be tenants up to the 5th floor, and the 8th floor will also have tenants. If that's the plan, then I guess the 9th and 10th floors are left. This place originally... These are the floors where the movie theater used to be and probably still are. I think they're still left as they were back then. Even if they were to be renovated, it would cost a lot, and it seems pretty difficult. By the way, the 9th floor is the new type. During the coronavirus outbreak, it was used as a vaccination site. Now, changing the subject, on Rokko Island, there's an artificial river called River Mall that flows through the center. When I visited, children were playing in the water. By the way, it seems that it's also lit up at night. Why am I talking about this? It's because there are a lot of commercial facilities lined up along this river mall. Kobe Fashion Plaza, Kobe Fashion Mart, and Sheraton Square are all built along the river mall, stretching from east to west. If you go a little further north, you'll find River Mall West, River Mall East, and something called Market Scene. There are low-rise commercial facilities. I couldn't film inside Market Scene because photography was prohibited, but since it's one of the few supermarkets on Rokko Island, it seemed relatively busy. Also, right next to Market Scene is River Mall West. Market Scene provides a direct connection to the supermarket. There are several tenants gathered on the first floor, so it didn't feel that desolate. However, the second floor was almost empty, and the vacant tenants stood out. I'm not sure what they were thinking when they built this facility, but the whole place feels like a maze. Since it was my first time here, I got pretty lost. Most buildings are usually easy to understand. I don't think a building like this would ever be constructed in this day and age. Across the River Mall, on the opposite bank, is the River Mall East. By the way, the tall building you can see in the back is the Asia One Center office building, which I'll introduce later. Unlike the West, River Mall East has become so deserted that it's hard to tell which tenants are still open. There was also a directory sign for River Mall East. However, since Subway, which I heard closed a long time ago, was still listed on the sign, to be honest, the reliability of this directory is zero. An operational elevator on the second floor indicated the facility was still functioning. It seems like the whole place is still alive, and I'd like to think that it was just by chance that none of the tenants were open when I visited. By the way, neither River Mall East nor West has a website, so there's no way to know which tenants are actually operating. That's about all I can tell you about River Mall West and East. There's just not enough information online. They don't even have a public address system, so their presence is really minimal. I've decided to give up on further coverage. Lastly, let me introduce the Asia One Center, which is an office building. Unlike commercial facilities, however, this was also a very interesting facility, so I would like to talk about it as well. By the way, there's a mysterious structure where a passageway leads directly from the rooftop of River Mall East, goes through Asia One Center, and continues straight to the parking lot of the apartment building behind it. It opened in 1993 as a 31-story office building. This was originally the Japanese headquarters of P. 16 years later, they transferred functions like research and development to Singapore. As a result, about half of the space became vacant, and the 31-story building was no longer needed. P moved its Japanese headquarters to Sanomiya. By the way, they relocated. Apparently, it had already been sold to a Chinese company before, and that company is still operating the Asia One Center. When I entered the lobby, there was a model of this office building. The lobby is also beautiful and has a glamorous feel, but at the same time, it feels extremely shabby. Isn't it normal for an office lobby on a weekday to be a bit more lively? There was a reception desk, but no one was there. And then I saw a list of tenants posted, so I took a look at it. If this really is a list of all the tenants in the building, that's a big problem. Not even a third of the spaces are filled, let alone half. I wonder if the business is even able to stay afloat. So this time I'm visiting Rokko Island. I went to see a huge commercial facility. All of it was planned and built during the bubble era, and you can really feel the energy of that time from the sheer grandeur of the building. I wasn't born yet, but I wish I could have experienced it, even just for a day. Also, on a personal note, things like this. I'd like to talk for a moment about featuring buildings in videos that are sometimes called the legacy of the bubble economy. It's true that focusing only on the negative aspects makes the videos more dramatic and probably increases the number of views. But I want to share both the negative and positive things as honestly as I can. That's also why I go to those places myself and do the research directly. Because I believe you can't fully understand what a place is like unless you actually go there and experience it yourself. While I was covering Rokko Island this time, it became a city I really love. I definitely want to visit again, and if Kobe Fashion Brother comes back, I'd like to make another video about it. I ended up saying something like a closing remark. While saying that here, the Rokko Island video is not over yet. Next time, I'll go to the southernmost tip of Rokko Island. I am planning to visit the site of Rokkoland Aoia, the huge amusement park that was only open for just 4 years. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.